Hello, great people. The forces against the presidency of Bola Tinubu have failed to relent as one Ambrose Owuru filed a case at the Supreme Court seeking the removal of President Bola Tinubu and his own inauguration as the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The Supreme Court threw out the case and awarded 5 million against Ambrose Owuru. In this video, I'll be telling you the politics and dynamics of the case itself and what this case would make Tinubu do. I'll give you 3 things that it will make President Bola Tinubu to do or to continue doing. We will be looking at this and the dynamics of 2027 and a whole lot more on this episode of Politics with Dr. Omosholadeji. Now, Ambrose Owuru is the 2019 presidential candidate of Hope Democratic Party. Now, 2019, and you are filing a case in 2024. So you can imagine that the people that really don't want to see Bola Tinubu occupy that position of president are so many. And that's why I've always advocated that Bola Tinubu, if you like yourself, you cannot ignore the power of ordinary Nigerians. Because if the elites are forming alliance against you, if the North are forming alliance against you, and the ordinary Nigerians, that can fight your battle, and you are also imposing anti-masses policies and they are against you, the question is, when the time comes, who will fight your battle? You still need to be popular, even if you are going to reach. Even if the police and INEC are going to help you, you still have to be popular. And the more popular you are, the more less determined people will be to unseat you as president. But as it is, people cannot even wait till 2027 because Ambrose Owuru approached the Supreme Court. Ambrose Owuru had first lost at the appeal court and 40 million naira was awarded against him. Now, before I go into what this case would make Bola Tinubu do or continue doing, the 3 things. You see, Ambrose Owuru claimed that Tinubu is a CIA agent, an active agent, and because Tinubu is an active CIA agent that he allegedly works for the CIA and he is an active asset to the CIA, that such a person is not worthy to be the president of a country like Nigeria, that itself disqualifies him, that Bola Tinubu continue to be president would be an injustice to Nigerians and it will affect the sovereignty of Nigeria. But the Supreme Court didn't buy into this argument. What again did Ambrose Owuru argue in court? Ambrose Owuru argued that for Bola Tinubu to have forfeited $460,000 in the drug deal case in the United States, that means that Bola Tinubu is not worthy to be the president of Nigeria. That for you to have forfeited $460,000, almost $500,000, that means that you have a case to answer, or you are guilty in that particular case and you decide to settle out of court, because no man in his right senses will want to forfeit his ardent $460,000. And how did you even acquire the money in the first place? So those are the argument of Ambrose Owuru. Ambrose Owuru also argued in court that he won the 2019 presidential election, but Buhari used his tenure, and now the Supreme Court should reinstate him as the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He said the judgment that the Supreme Court gave in 2019 was a travesty of justice, that the Supreme Court did not schedule itself rightly. That was why that judgment came against him. But the Supreme Court wasn't buying any of that, and 5 million naira was awarded against him, payable to President Bola Tinubu. What did the case teaches us, and what will it make President Bola Tinubu to be doing? You see, the case will make Bola Tinubu to do 3 things, and I will explain them to you. Number 1 is it will increase his alertness. What do I mean by that? For somebody to file a case seeking the order of court to remove you when you have spent over a year and a half in office, it means that there are people that have not given up. There are some people that have not resigned to their fate or to God that we see in 2027. If you are Bola Tinubu, this case will increase your alertness. Alertness to do everything humanly possible to secure yourself and your government. And the more President Bola Tinubu is alert, the more it will be to the detriment of ordinary Nigerians, because securing your government costs money, whether by virtue of using technology, whether by virtue of buying more amenities, whether by virtue of backdoor politics, whether by virtue of political patronage. Whatever means you want to use to protect your government, it will cost you more money for you to protect your government. And that is one thing about the alertness, because you have put Bola Tinubu on his toes. And when you put a president on his toes, the president will be doing everything humanly possible to protect his government rather than what he will do to protect the economy and the society that he is ruling over as president. In the sense that the president will first be thinking about himself. He will want to protect himself because he knows that before he can do anything, he has to be president first. He has to have that power first. So when you are filing frivolous cases, if one Ambrose Owuru is filing a case, Ambrose Owuru that, in fact, I don't think you know him. As much as I don't know him, I don't think you know him. And for you to be a president of Nigeria, you need to have done a lot of things in your life in such a way that you will literally be an household name. So this will increase the alertness of the president. And the president is not yet super alert. He's buying private jets. He's buying Escalade. He's, appointing more ministers. He's, dishing out national honor, GCON, to Akpabio, to Tajuddin Abbas, the Senate President and Speaker of the House of Representatives. Now that you have increased his alertness, it will always be to the detriment of Nigeria and Nigerians. The second thing is that Tinubu will solidify his defense. This case will make Tinubu to solidify his defense very strongly, and he will do everything, as I've said earlier, to solidify that defense, no matter what it will cost him. Even if it will take him to use your salary, the money that is supposed to use to build the roads and bridges, if it will take him that money to protect himself and his presidency, he will do it. Now, the third thing is that this thing will increase the nepotism of President Bola Tinubu, in the sense that in Nigeria, we can't rule out the role of ethnicity, in the sense that when people are in office, they always believe that the best people that can protect their interests is people from their ethnic group. If you look at the structure of Nigeria very well. So this kind of thing that you are doing, Ambrose Owuru, you have only increased the nepotistic tendencies of President Bola Tinubu, because now if we want to be on guard on all fronts, the DSS, the police, the military, the judiciary, if we want to make sure that he has eyes and ears on every important sector of the Nigerian polity, and that itself is a problem, because he will want to put his own people there, and by the virtue of the ethnic dynamics of Nigeria, he will always put his fellow Yoruba people. And I am against nepotism, despite being a Yoruba man, because I believe that for you to rise to be the president of a country, if you don't have an Hausa man that you can trust, if you don't have an Igbo man that you can trust with a sensitive position, like head of DSS, head of the police, head of military, it means that you have not walked your path rightly to that presidency, because you need to go back and go and live life again. Because for you to be the president of Nigeria, you don't have people from other ethnic group that you can trust, just like Buhari was just appointing his fellow Hausa Fulani people. Is a problem. And if you think that nepotism is good, when your man is in power, that your man will leave power. When that man leaves power, then you will come crying. The Hausa Fulanis that were praising Buhari when Buhari was extremely nepotistic, Tinubu has not done half of Buhari's nepotism. They are screaming all over the place. Why don't you strive for equity in such a way that regardless of who is president, you will be adequately represented? So all these frivolous cases and some of these illogical actions will only bring about these three things: increase the president alertness, which will be to the detriment of Nigerians. The president will solidify his defense, which will be to the expense of the pocket of Nigerians, and it will also increase the president's nepotism. So these three things we always have. Those people that went and they were flying Russian flag. This is one of the problem. You know, these three things will also happen. So I don't know why Nigerian elite, whereby they are operating like they don't have like strong common sense, because at least you need to have a bit of common sense that if you want to take action that will be very strategic, take action that will shake the president, take action that will sack the president from office, not all these nonsense actions that they are taking all over the place. Tinubu will be afraid by this case because he can be removed by 2/3 of the Senate and House of Representatives, and also by 7 men. Who are those 7 men? The judges at the Supreme Court. Should I tell you the truth? With the kind of constitutional democracy we practice, if when Ambrose Owuru prayed the court to declare him president, if one abracadabra had happened, if one spirit had entered those judges and they allow his petition and they grant his prayers, Tinubu is gone forever. Do you know that? Are you aware of that? And that's why I said that Tinubu will be more nepotistic, because if you want to put people that is sure that no matter any step you want to take, you cannot succeed. Because if those 7 Supreme Court justices, if they have said, yes, your argument makes sense and your prayer is hereby granted, Tinubu now will be referred to as former president. Don't say it is not possible. It is very possible. If the court, in their wisdom, make that pronouncement, Tinubu is gone and gone forever. And these are some of the things that Tinubu himself knows, and he will always want to be on guard. You see, if I were to be a president, I'll be scared. And the reason why I'll be scared is that I'll be thinking, is this case a test for president's removal? In the sense that if you are a student of politics, history, and international relations, they are president of weak countries, underdeveloped countries, emerging countries, peripheral countries. These are all synonyms words, and most of these countries are situated in Africa, that have been removed by these American agents, CIA, FBI, countries that are not cooperating with the West. So then they usually use people close to those presidents to remove them. And sometimes they use the military. They fund the military. They influence the military. Now, those methods are becoming old. As they say in street parlance, it don't cast. Some of those methods, they don't cast. So if I were to be a president with my knowledge of politics and international relations, I think that me spending 1 year and a half in office, and somebody is filing a case at the Supreme Court at this point in time, is this case a test for president removal? Is it a new innovation? And that's why if I were President Bola Tinubu, I would go all out to defend the case, because I would think that hope it is not all this CIA, all this FBI, all these foreign machineries, all these Western countries that are at work again, that now they don't want to use coup. They don't want to use people that are close to me. Maybe none of them has decided to be a Judas. They now want to go and use the judiciary. So if I'm President Bola Tinubu, of course, I would be very scared for my presidency. You see, what I can say is politicians should rally around themselves and begin to look at good ways to stay united and sack Bola Tinubu from office in 2027 if they so wish to. So Ambrose Owuru should be using his time now to be aligning with the credible candidates, the candidate that have substance and followership. The Peter Obi, the Atiku Abubakar. He should be using his time to align with them, or be building his own political structure so that he can give Bola Tinubu a good fight in 2027. And the institutions are already allegedly in the pocket of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So all these things cannot really shake him that much. But like I said, if I were Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I would have been scared that, oh, this is not a new way to sack a president that is already comfortable in office from office. It's been an interesting time with you on this episode of Politing with Dr. Omoshola Deji. Dr. Deji is a political scientist with a PhD in political science, and this is where we relax to analyze politics and happenings in the polity. Do want to subscribe, turn on your notification button, catch up with my past videos, and of course, I have great, interesting videos coming your way. Till I see you again, always remember that I love you all sincerely.